Good evening, everyone. This is John Burgos, and I want to welcome you to this evening's edition of the On the Ordinary show. And I hope you guys are ready because we are in for a fantastic call of Kelly Hampton, Archangel Michael, and whoever else Kelly happens to bring in and follow the energy on during this call. This is going to be fantastic. Kelly's a BTO favorite, and the information that's shared on these calls just expands us so much. We get so many comments from previous calls that, again, we have to just keep inviting Kelly back. So we're going to do a lot of things on today's call. Now, Kelly, is going to take live calls. So if you want to ask your questions, you can type in your question on the webcast page or press *2 to raise your hand, and we'll try to take as many live questions as possible. But there's other things that Kelly's going to lead us through today also that you're going to want to hang out for. Kelly's actually, and Archangel Michael and Master Christ are going to actually teach us how to do a 3-part accession breath and learn the importance of doing it daily by breathing in particles of light. And Kelly will get into that a little bit more later on the call. And then we're going to be guided by Archangel Michael, Mother Mary Magdalene, through a rainbow overlay color healing visualization that's going to provide instant healing from the higher realms. And this is something that Kelly was telling me about. She hasn't done it on BTO before, and she says it's really powerful. We're also going to learn about the Pleiadians and the revolutionary 50 healing systems given to Kelly for people, animals, and horses. And if you guys are into horses and have any questions about your animals or horses, this is a great opportunity also because Kelly has really been receiving a lot of information, a lot of downloads on what we can do to help our animals here on the planet as well, and as well as what they're doing for us. So. And also, we're going to learn the importance of knowing our soul theme. But again, if you have any questions in regard to animals or horses especially, Kelly's been getting a lot of information, a lot of downloads that's really going to help in our healings and in our animal healings as well. So again, today's going to be a really special call. And let's get started. Again, Kelly's going to take live calls. *2 to raise your hand, type in your question. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Kelly, let me read her bio. So that you can fall more into Kelly's energy, what she does, what she's here to do, and what she can help you with. And from there, I'm going to let Kelly take it. So Kelly Hampton is a spiritual teacher and healer. She's the founder of multiple new fifth dimension healing systems from Archangel Michael and the Pleiadians with certified practitioners in 7 countries since 2010. Star Healing Intergalactic Energy, Star Healing Equine, Star Healing for small animals, and ascended spaces for creating abundance in your homes using another new system given to her by Archangel Michael. Oh my God, guys, I forgot. Kelly's also received information from Archangel Michael regarding a new astrology. So we're going to talk about that also. I'm so excited about that. Now, through Kelly's Star Healing Intergalactic seminars and retreats and audio series, she elevates the human and planetary consciousness. She conducts private healings all over the world as well as certifies practitioners in these magnified new healing systems given to her by Archangel Michael. She's the author of 2 books, Into the White Light, The Revelations of Archangel Michael, and 2012 and Beyond, The Truth from Archangel Michael. And her 3rd book is coming, The Book of Animals. And with that, guys, I want to welcome Kelly to the show. Kelly, thank you for being here today.
Thanks, John. Thanks again for having me back.
It's always amazing having you back. And again, the audience just absolutely loves you. There's so much information that we all get from Archangel Michael and from you. And again, there's always a new download. There's always a leveling up. So I'm going to get excited to get started here. Gosh, Kelly, again, we have so much to review. Would it be possible to get everybody just settled into the call? Can we go ahead and start with this rainbow overlay that you were talking about?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to do that. And it may not be presented exactly the same way as it was the other day, but it was an extension of a 3rd level expanded Star Healing Intergalactic session, and they're kind of like getting custom made shoes or customized anything, when people get to that level. So it very well can be suited in this setting, and I'm happy to do so. Let me invoke Michael, and then he'll begin to lead us through there, and then we'll see when and if Mary will come through and do other energetic healing. Mary Magdalene, I hear she normally appears. So, you know, it is an energetic transmission. I know John has quite an enlightened and aware audience, partly because John is so enlightened and aware and his speakers are. But, you know, you do want to kind of be mindful, and mindful would simply be, you know, I'm not sure how long it will be. It won't be like a 20-minute kind of thing, but probably every bit of 5 minutes it is an energetic transmission. So if you have water handy, great. You don't need to have a feeling sensation. Certainly, if there's any sharing that everyone wants to do afterwards, I'm sure John's open to that. So let me just invoke Michael. Michael, could you please guide us through Mother Mary Magdalene, all the holy ones, the White Brotherhood, the Father, Mother, Son, and God, Source, Mother Earth, all of our spirit guides of those that may be on the call and on the call later. Do you want to describe this a bit, Michael, or just center us, as John's suggesting, and lead us through this, what we're calling an overlay, rainbow overlay healing visualization? Okay, this is what I'm hearing. It gives us great pleasure to also be invoked, and we would be known as the Council of Nine. Just know that in some ways that we're an extension of all of your beating hearts. We certainly might call ourselves overseers or overlayers, but again, we are part of Source. So just know that if you are already feeling a change in the vibration, wonderful and well. If you want to close your eyes, wonderful and well. If you're not feeling or sensing anything, all is well and good. Also, we just wanted to make our presence known because we do feel as though some of you are already starting to see some butterflies or some other types of rainbow guided imagery. So we might start with that. We'll step aside and let our brother Michael start from here. Okay, thank you. So Michael, what about this, please? He's just saying a hard act to follow is what I heard there. But I'll do my best in just continuing as we unite our hearts and souls in the purpose of being one. That's the purpose of all things, however they're presented. And if this is a new presentation, wonderful. If it's something some of you are familiar with in your own way, in your own name, wonderful as well. So let's imagine, as was suggested by the council, that we have some butterflies in our vision. The butterflies can be whatever color you ask them to be. I myself might begin with blue. If I've been called and asked to guide us a bit, if other colors are already being shown to you, wonderful and well. But let's go about this in a group way, and the blue would be a bright blue, if your minds and hearts are wondering. So breathe naturally. We'll talk about the three-part ascension breath, probably separate from this, although nothing's really separate, but in the way that we're working here together. If everyone can just ease into, tell their muscles for just a moment to relax. Tell your feet to relax. Tell the muscles in your legs to relax. Tell the muscles and the tendons and the fibers, all the nervous endings in the nervous system to relax, and focus your minds on a bright blue butterfly. And imagine, if you will please, that the bright blue butterfly morphs, magnifies, suddenly changes into 10, and then 20 in your vision, and asking your powerful creative minds to imagine a field of vision with so many bright blue butterflies flying free as your souls are all around you. If some of you want to envision other things besides the blue butterflies, I would ask you to imagine them being on a very pale pink background. If it comes to you, it would be a pale pink background. Each of these colors, by the way, in this overlay, or as we move into this, really it is a visualization, and there's healing in visualization, although each of these colors and each of these symbols will be presenting its own healing. Also, so it is kind of a combined thing. If you're wondering why I might sound so peaceful and my voice might be quieter than normal, not so commanding as normal, it's because I am being abided here by much of feminine energy from the Marys that we've called upon and more. There are more Marys than were called upon. So quite a bit of feminine energy is softening, Michael's saying, my bravado. So with all of us gathered here, if your vision is filled with the images of lots of, let's say, bright blue butterflies on a pink background, just take some deep breaths. We're not going to do the ascension breathing or the infinite breath quite now. I think perhaps we'll do that at the end. And imagine how beautiful it would be to be surrounded by so many of these bright blue butterflies, because they do exist. They don't just exist in your visual mind. They exist in what we might call the inner earth, and of course they exist on your earth. If I may ask us to imagine at this point now that these bright blue butterflies have transitioned themselves into the color green. It would be bright green, grass green, many trees, many leaves, many plant species, bright green. You might choose to imagine that the same type of butterfly that you're either energetically seeing or you're projecting with your mind. There is some continuity in imagining the same, because largely this is a rainbow of the ninth dimensional type frequency healing for everyone. And again, just imagine one to begin with. Imagine, if you're not already there, visualizing that there are more now, that the blue have been replaced, if you will, gently and lovingly with bright green butterflies, 10, 20, 30, 100, infinitely flying in their magnificence in whatever way that you're feeling them. Remembering the breath. Asking now, as we elevate our healing, that these bright green butterflies that you're either seeing energetically, feeling, hearing, some of you are hearing them, or just simply imagining. Ask them to shake their wings, if you would, kind souls, so that they kind of dust you with some silver. And again, imagine or feel or sense, always or wise, silver is what we're asking them to sort of dust us individually, dust us collectively with, knowing that as I come to know it, silver is the second highest healing element on your planet, known as the frequency of gratitude. And take just a moment to feel and imagine, if nothing else, if there's no feeling, because everyone's energy bodies have been changed in some way, as we would say, we collectively, those that are here. If we're ready to move to the next layer of imagery, as well as another dimensional. Right now we're on the 6th dimensional plane, for those of you that might be interested. The next color of the butterfly, if we can start with 1. Some of you may be guessing. You might know these rays, but I'm going to kind of mix them up for a reason. The next color would be bright yellow, bright yellow. 1 butterfly in your mind, unless it's already sort of morphed and changed itself to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, what have you, infinitely extending themselves into infinity, if this is what might be presented, or imagine it, that these bright yellow butterflies now, we want to layer in this dimensional frequency healing with a gentle humming sound. I'll make the tone. It might be very much like you might think, butterflies sound. They make sound, It's not just bees that make sound. It's not just other insects, crickets, that make sound. Perhaps someday we'll talk more fully about the sounds that the animal kingdom make and what their healing is, further than what we're doing here. But to elevate ourselves on this dimensional plane, imagine, I'll make the sound. E. Michael's saying it's like an E. Make it yourself if it moves you with your own voices. I will step aside and allow Mother Mary to lead us to the other planes of our layering. Part of the layering is not only meant in your energetic layering of reaching and touching and sharing and integrating other planes of existence, but also layering from so many helpers that everyone has. Again, feminine energy is much needed at this time in your planet, in your world. So I'll step aside and allow Mother Mary to lead us to the next layer if she would be so kind. Yes, she's saying, yes, I have great interest in this, great interest in all that are gathering. I myself would like to bring into the next layer, layering into the 10th dimension, in your visual minds, a pink butterfly. All of these layers, by the way, will be butterflies for a reason. I'll be happy to share a reason I see, but many of you already know what you can imagine. Even the youngest child is intrigued by the beauty of a butterfly and what they can mean in transformation. So we hope in some way this very short, brief, you might say, layering, healing that we're doing will be transformative for many of you listening. You certainly can and are welcome to repeat it on your own terms within reason. In other words, do not feel as though it's a necessity. We ask that you do not feel as though that the efforts we're providing here are not substantive and long-lasting. Everyone is unique as a snowflake, and there are some souls that may find it just a feel-good sensation to do it again, and why would we not ask you to extend yourselves into your own power? So, yellow, bright yellow butterfly, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and 60, 600, 6,000, very much like my friend Michael has said, into infinity. I am not going to go to a sound. On this layer of healing transformation, we're reaching to the outermost bodies of your outermost bodies, and this particular visualization layering that we're calling it will connect many of you to the essence of Jupiter and the essence of extending ourselves to other plateaus, as I'm calling it here, to other dimensional realms. You're multidimensional beings, and many of you know this, so the energy or the healing power of Jupiter by this layering, by coming up to it in this manner, sort of walking up a ladder. That's partly why we call it layering also. Imagine if some of you were just catapulted up to the top floor on a very speedy elevator and you had not sort of ridden one before. So we do take this work very mindfully with that kind of process in mind. Some of you we know have already gone and exceeded the next layer where we're going. The next layer will be the final layer of transmission during this time, and I'll allow Mary Magdalene to come in with that, as would be my grace. So yellow butterflies into infinity, the healing properties of Jupiter, to finish my teaching for you. Some of you already might know this. There are many healing properties from many different plateaus. Right now through this, Jupiter's energy is compassion. So in a way you might say, yes, well, on Earth we have compassion. Why is this need to come from Jupiter? Why does it need to come? Why are we on an elevated plane? And I'd say these thoughts are true that you may have in your mind. But we trust that many of you are open to understanding that the cords of ascension are spiraling upwards and outwards. And we view it mostly as, in some ways, a refinement of what's already there within you. We do feel as though, again, as we say, that pulling from other regions and other levels of infiniteness, not that any layer or level is separate from Source, but we are trying to project that there are multiple reasons for everything that exists, healing in everything. There is no tone on this layer, as I say. It's compassion that I've been asked to lay in. Some of you may know me as my greatest gift with that. My greatest gift is a reflection of your hearts and minds as I step aside for Mary Magdalene. Okay, she's very quiet. She's very quiet. She's saying, hello, friends. It is my supreme honor to be joining in with all of your hearts that are here in your minds. Some of your minds we know are elsewhere, but we are well with that. Some of your hearts still may be elsewhere, and we are well with that. The final layer of this healing I've been asked to participate in would be a purple, violet butterfly. One, I would ask your minds to imagine not one small one of such huge magnitude that instead of the other layers, the other visuals, where you were asked to extend it by number, I would ask your inner mind, your inner knowing, your inner vision to project one huge, most magnificent, violet, vibrating butterfly that fills your whole entire vision. And if you would, kind souls, imagine that this particular violet, almost neon violet butterfly has gold around the edges of its wings, knowing that as we come to know it, gold is the highest healing element on your planet. It is also the highest healing element in many other planets and many other solar systems. It does represent truth, compassion, kindness. If I could ask each and every one of you, if you're not already drawn, to extend your hands and either project at the beautiful, most magnificent in size and power, beauty, butterfly is either resting in your hands open, or if you're moved, to take your finger and gently trace it over the golden edge, as we're calling it, around the beautiful wings. Ask yourselves if you can imagine a feeling, even if you don't feel the feeling, because underneath the gold there are other layers. Underneath the gold there is turquoise. Underneath the gold edging of this most beautiful butterfly, there is also what we would call magnified healing that has no color. It's absent of color. You might come to know it as infinite one. Infinite one. It's like the combination of all colors, the absence of none. Crystalline light, you might say, is underneath the gold. It may vibrate in your fingers, it may not. That part is somewhat irrelevant in a way. But if you're moved to trace around the edging again, one final time would be well and enough and well advised, no more. If you're choosing instead to hold the beautiful, most magnificent 33rd dimensional butterfly in your hands, imagine at this time that you're, again, casting it, as my friend Michael asked many times, to cast things up and away from you. And imagine that it flies and soars off, circles around, circles around, circles around, and then comes back into your hearts. Know that we appreciate you the divine human who has made space for this brief healing. Okay, Michael, thank you, Mary Magdalene. Michael, do you want to do the breath now? Yes, I would like to bring this to a closure, if I may, with the infinity breath. I tend to call it most times the ascension breath, the three-part breath. They're nearly almost one and the same, but we do feel as though it would be a nice way to sort of integrate it. Everyone can do it, of any age can do it safely. It's not a complex thing. It will bring closure to this layered rainbow healing. Simply, friends, blow out, extend the belly out. It's almost, if you want to put your hands on your bellies or abdominal region to help feel this, the first part is really an outward. The second part, in quick succession, would be upper cavity. So it's almost like the upper body is thrusted out if your hands are still on your abdomen. And the final part is the throat. So in succession, it's all an exhale and then a quick inhale of the God breath. Again, if you would. I'd like to do this 2 more times, friends. And that may be through the nose if you're led. And how is this different, or how is it the same from other breathing you may have been doing 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I say it's not that anything is revolutionarily new about this, you might say, but 3 has meaning. It has something to do with cosmic Christ energy, and the particles at the end, even if they come in through the nose, with the 3-part exhalation like that, imagine, if nothing else, that they turn from different types of matter for every individual into a crystalline spark, you might say, and that the nose and the body system, very soft, nothing abrasive about this crystalline energy. Some of you know it quite well because you are made of it quite totally and fully. Some of you not quite so much, but nevertheless, it can be seen as diamond energy connected to source. That's what I see as a significant difference than what you might have realized 4 or 5 years ago. It's the particles that are exhaling as the human body is evolving, and what you're also inhaling in a very brief way at the same time. Some of you may have seen the crystalline inhale or felt it sort of as a rush, but it should not have lasted more than a second, he's saying, and that should have dissipated by now. She speaks for us, if you find it useful, to lay your hands in a namaste position. I'll step aside and see where I might be needed next. All right, thank you, Michael. Don't go away far, buddy.
That was fantastic, Kelly, and I want to go back just a little bit. And we started off really quickly, and I want to thank you, Michael, Mary's, for just how available you are. It's actually, you know, we get on these calls, and we're so used to having you here, so we just kind of dive in, and it's almost as if it's expected. But know it's with a tremendous amount of gratitude and respect and honor for what you do. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing what you're sharing, and just being so available.
Thank you.
And I wanted to get in. This is a fantastic exercise and process with the rainbow overlay color healing. Kelly, what kind of healing is coming in? What was the what can we reach into whenever, when people come back and listen to the replays, if they have to wrap their minds around something or set an intention for it, what will that help them with?
Okay, thank you. Michael saying, thank you, my friend. Part of this was cutting any cords that were rooted in the deep past, you might say. And cord cutting, that would be from the feet. So that's in layer by layer. If I can work up that, let me just, if I may, continue. So that's what that would have accomplished for many, if not everyone. Okay, the transmission itself, just as everyone is unique, as snowflakes, as God, infinite mind, source energy. Some of the souls that were listening or will be listening, they felt it in the moment. Others will find that in re-listening to this, that they may feel as though something from them, or they may see something in their life that they felt was holding them back. Maybe that's a way to talk about cord cutting. In the next several weeks, I feel as though the furthest outreach of those that will be listening and re-listening would be several weeks, no more than 3 weeks from today. I do feel as though that if it wasn't an energetic release in the moment, that many, if not everyone that was listening through this will find that something in their life that wasn't serving them was cut away with ease and grace, without effort. Perhaps you might find it useful to make mental note, or if your heart and minds move you to share in 3 weeks' time, would be a wonderful learning for everyone. But that's totally left up to your judgment. But something in the human life that was dragging someone down, you might say, might have been a relationship, it might have been a health issue. It will be different for everyone, okay? But something in that, not only in the first visualization, but really the first 2 and 3 layers. The layers after the first 2 and 3, what was layered in there, what we might call intergalactic or interstreaming or intercolonization. So a couple of words that still might not lend any understanding to this, so I'd like to just extend that and say, for many souls on Earth, their original soul home was not of Earth, and there is a soul longing to return home. So for those of you that may have had that feeling or have that feeling, not everyone in the call will have had that, but there will be other healing for that subset of people. But for those that have had that, and for many of you, your Earth cannot be called your original soul home. So for a large proportion of those, as I say, that will be partaking in this, there was a healing of what I would say huge proportion that might show up in your life as more peace. Okay, peace from what? By being reconnected with soul pieces from your soul home. Again, I don't want to overpromise myself, and I'm talking to a spectrum of souls and energy beings that are here, but it can reach that level for many of you, okay? I would look for some semblance of greater peace. Some of you may have even, or in the next 3 weeks, 3 significant number, I'd like to present it to everyone from when you first heard this, in case your minds are wondering. It doesn't mean you have to keep replaying and replaying, my friends, waiting for it to show up. All is well, all is in divine order. But let's just suppose that in 3 weeks from the first hearing, because I tend to be a literal guide and many ask this of me, there will be peace shown by being connected, by feeling maybe safer, a feeling for some of you like you fit in more fully, okay? It may have already come to the cells of your body right now and right here. Others will find gradualness in the next 3 weeks. Others may find that it's close to the 3rd week period, okay? The final layer or level that we to bring some insight into this, it was really, as we would say, the crowning glory, and that is providing a kind of like a top to this stair-stepping healing, and the top was source energy. So if you view it as God, if you view it as Allah, whatever name, the infinite wise one, that was the top, like the clear crystalline dome, another way of saying it. And how that manifests in your life will be as unique as John is to Laura, as Lisa is to Paul. By that I mean I feel as though a heart opening, multiple heart openings, multiple synchronicities should be befalling those that were listening, again, not trying to overstate what we did and have your expectations. So again, have none, really, he would say, and know that it's in divine order. But more love will be showing up in your lives as a result of this. And it's not just this. It's not as though we are presenting something that you don't have within yourselves. Let me make this clear. We're just like he's saying, the waiters that take the orders. Everyone listening has the order in their spark of their divine creation. Michael's saying, we just took the orders for now.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that. And thank you, Michael and Kelly, for that and for the clarification. And what a great intention to set, and also what to feel into, so that we become aware. Because as we become aware, it adds more energy to it also, because it no longer sits outside of us, but sits within us. So absolutely love that. Now, Kelly, something that we want to talk about today, and I want to get into it just a little bit so we can start taking some live calls, because there's a lot of people that are asking about this. But you really wanted to talk to us about the importance of our soul theme.
Well, yes. Yes, can you like to move to that now? Michael, Archangel Michael, he kind of goes through phases, at least through me. So, he was enlisting everyone in his army a few years ago. It has some teaching about infinity partners, what they are and why soulmates, and what a connector is. Of late, of the last year, I'd say, soul theme. So there's, I'm sure, divine reason, maybe just because it's ready for me or something. But as a way, if you're not familiar with this, Archangel Michael talks about the importance of knowing about our soul theme. It can be useful, and many times people already know what it is, and Michael just validates them or something. But the soul theme, as I come to know it through him, is one of the very few things that does not change. That does not change in the majority of our soul's existence. It is, as he says, if you can imagine, the very first beautiful, magnificent page of our soul charts. And some of the souls on our planet are having missions, which are a little different. They're not writing such heavy soul charts with such deep lessons to learn, because we are in the time of the ascension. So there's no point in writing in some of the denser lessons that for hundreds and hundreds of years on our earth, transitioning from heaven to earth and heaven to earth, there's a reason to learn them. So just a little asterisk, so in case someone knows this or is wondering, there are some younger souls, of course, that are, as Michael says, actually partial teaching in the second book he shared about 3 years ago. But for the majority of souls where there's lessons, the soul chart contains many things, and part of what it contains are lessons. They're called life lessons, but they don't take a whole life to learn. In fact, they can look like, as he explains it, like a tapestry, like little threads that come together. And that's part of what a soul chart that souls wrote. No, he didn't write the chart, right? Buddha didn't write the chart. As I come to know it, all of us created our soul chart, and there was, as I say it, great cosmic beings, you might say God energy, those that sit around the feet of God, infinite mind, sort of approved it for an incarnation. So getting back to the soul theme, so you have to know, my feeling there was just sharing a little bit about the chart. So with the theme, a soul theme comes from a soul chart. Okay, it's like the title page of a book, you might say, but glorious in nature, as Michael describes it, vibrating with all different colors and jewels and gems, and a quite magnificent thing in terms of energy. So the soul theme can be, as I come to know it, either one main theme or frequency, a blended theme, or a dual theme, two that may come together, or a blended theme, which is primarily three blends of a frequency coming together. He likens it to the floor of our house. So a lot of times when people call and, contact me for guidance or whatever it may be, whatever lesson, or however these things go, particularly if a person feels stuck, they feel like they have no purpose, because we all need to feel as though we have purpose, and of course our purpose is to give love, be love, but in a soul sense, from like the title, first page of our soul chart, we wrote, as I hear it from Michael, a frequency, something to accomplish. And so, he likens it like the floor of our home. The walls of our home, as he constructs them or says in his visual, are the paths that we take to be on our theme. So some of you I know have heard this before, but my theme as an example is healer teacher. It's a dual theme, pretty much equal frequencies. So when I do, and when I am, and when I act as a healer teacher, however I choose to exemplify that, it gives me great contentment, and contentment leads to joy, purpose. So it does not need to be a career or profession. However, for many people, because if you're doing in that soul sense what we came here to do in that way, most of the time you're spending more earth time on it. So if you're retired, you're spending, ideally you might be spending a lot of your retirement time on it, or whatever the case may be. So for clarity, it doesn't need to be a career, but if you're doing something, let's say as a career, and it's not joy-filled, chances are you're probably not touching on any of the frequencies that are in your soul theme. And if you have to, if it's really something that you're on the fence about, let's just stick with your career for just a second. A lot of times Michael will say, well, okay, if this is, if it's bringing you at least a number 8, 9, or 10 on the scale of joy, and you're not healer teacher, let's say my day job was accountant. Can you imagine? Wow, no, it was a joke. I can imagine. But let's say I was an accountant, then I'd be well served in my off time, healing and teaching. Okay, so there's no wrongness. If we move to this, and some of you very much want to share what you think your soul theme is and have Archangel Michael validate it, or you're clueless to some degree, as he tries to be, and many of the guides are try to communicate this in a loving way. If however we walk through this, if Michael says, and certainly some of the themes are more esoteric than others, like beautifier, magician. Okay, those can require a little more definition than perhaps a healer teacher. But how I choose to teach, how and what I choose to heal, those are my paths. I might have chosen as my, to be some other kind of teacher and not the way that I am. So those are called the paths. But to finish up my thought there, if it's newly presented to you, it's just considered a new day. Just open your mind to it a little, so you feel good with whatever you've done up until now. I guess I just wanted to put that in there. So that's how they're presented. One main theme, a dual theme that are kind of equally weighted, or as Michael says, a blended theme. So unless you have any questions or need more explanation about that, John, we could move to that or whatever you'd like.
Now, let's go to some live calls, and let's see if some people can figure out what their themes are. If they have any other questions, we can get into those as well. How's that sound?
Yep, be great.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start with some live callers here. We had so many people waiting on the line. You guys are amazing. Let's start a caller here from Morro Bay. Morro Bay, are you on the line with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
This is Linda, John.
Linda,
Kelly.
welcome
Hi,
to
Linda.
the show. What's your question for Archangel Michael and whoever else shows up?
Yes. What is my next step in unfoldment?
Well, I'm happy to invoke Michael, and he's a literal guide. So,
Great.
for sake of helping a lot of people, your version of unfoldment. So maybe we could pick an aspect of that. Do you mean your spiritual development, or?
Okay, I would say as far as my health, well, I'll be specific.
Yes, it would be, quickest. So,
Yes.
okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, let me, and that's still not super specific, but I'll go with what she needs to know about her health. Is that okay with you, dear?
Okay, yeah, this is very spontaneous. I was into something else with butterflies and so on, an experience I had with a butterfly flying around my head. So,
well,
okay, one second here.
We'd love to hear that probably at some point.
Specifically, Kelly, the asthma has worsened, and I understand what it is, yet am clueless on what specifically I can do on a soul or emotional level to relieve it, to relieve the symptoms.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael, I'll ask Michael, certainly even before I invoke him, it is part of the work he has me doing to invite many people to a very powerful healing system for any and all conditions, not only for yourself, but for animals and horses. And it's the Star Healing Intergalactic Energy System that's been around since 2010 and 2011. And also the knowledge and awareness of raising the vibration in our homes, because the thoughts, every illness in our body, and this, many of you, this is like almost probably basic boot camp teaching, but every thought, every illness in our body is first created in our mind. So most of the time you're going to find that Archangel Michael doesn't really indicate, and say, well, he doesn't spend too much time on so much what put it there as about to correct it. So that's really what you're asking anyway. So I consider those two systems mightily if it moves you. And let me see what else he has to say. What else would it be, my friend? Okay, this is what I'm hearing for you. He's saying, I would ask you to take and make more time for yourself. There are multiple ways healing can come about, certainly so. So taking more time for yourself, that will be a substantive tool for your healing. If you need more guidance on how much time and what kind of things to do for yourself, but of course they're nurturing. I don't feel as though you need me to, he's kind of playing with you, micromanage that, okay? That's number one. And I would say to you that if that means taking some time off from something or away from something and actually moving away from your home, like a vacation, a midweek even, day away, night away, okay? And then keep it in there. It's not a one-time thing. If I had to be Dr. Michael, he's saying, my prescription for you exactly would be 5 days of rest, followed by 5 days of fun activity, followed by 5 affirmations that move you, that have to do with, I am able to speak my truth, I'm able to move about the world more freely, I'm able to see things with new inspiration, I breathe in gratitude and expel fear. He's asking, he says, was that 5? I think that was 4. Some of that I think he's asking to see if you're paying attention, or we all are. Are we falling asleep or something? I think there's one more. I think there's one more affirmation. Was there another one, Michael?
Looks like 4.
Oh, okay. Here's one more. No matter whether it was 4 or 5. I'm free to be me. And then move into the areas where you reflect upon this, he's saying, my friend. And if you feel restrained in certain areas of your life, then move into freeing yourself and move into them. It's about freedom, partially.
Yes. That resonates very clearly and strongly.
Well,
fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much for calling. And yeah, come back and listen to the replay and embrace that in your heart as well as in your mind, and find out how much more that's going to take you, and see if you're willing to take the advice, because it's when we put it into action that we really get the results that we're looking for.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was great, Kelly, Michael. Thank you so much for that. And I love it when Michael starts playing.
What's that?
I love it when Michael gets playful with us.
Breaks up the seriousness of it all, you know?
It does. Let's take another caller here. We have the caller. I'm just drawn to call on you right now. It's a caller. I think it's Ludington, Michigan. Is that right?
Yes.
Ludington. Hi. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Elaine.
Hi, Elaine. Welcome to the show. What's your question for Kelly?
Well, I've been doing a lot of just really focusing on my spiritual growth, and as part of that, I'm feeling like I need to create some custom artwork as part of my life purpose, and I just wondered if
Oh, did I lose you?
We lost her.
We lost her.
Elaine, are you there?
Well, I think I can go with what she said.
Okay, yeah, let's go there, and we'll try to get her back. If not, we'll try to come back after the next question.
Okay. So, Michael, what is Elaine's soul theme, and how could you guide her about this creativity that she's wanting to move forward? All righty, he's saying, well, he says, I'm dusting off my boots and my hands, ready to get back to work, he's saying. So she has what I would call a blended soul theme in this incarnation. And these blends, by the way, are not soul traits or soul chords. That's a different matter. Sometimes souls ask us, what are my gifts? And that's more where a soul chord arrangement comes into being, as long as I'm just sharing a few things. So her soul theme is, one is significantly creator. It is a soul theme that's recognized by the councils, and there's multiple councils. Creator, magnifier, which might need a little bit of explanation, and homemaker. So for Elaine and others that may be listening that might have a similar theme, you may not have any children, and you may not even be in a relationship, but homemaker, you can have a homemaker theme, or in her case, it's a thread of her blended theme. It has more to do with nurturing. It has certainly particles of the home itself, or gardening, beauty, this type of thing. So the magnifier part of your theme, again, some of these are more esoteric, but taking something, this is kind of a literal interpretation, but taking something for others. The soul theme is really your expression to the outer world so you feel contentment. So I'd say magnifying a concept, and so creating a concept that moves you, that has some healing aspect to it, is going to be what I'd call pretty much right on your theme. Some themes, by the way, friends, are not ignited at the same time in a person's life. So it is your time, however, your theme is ignited. It's usually in a midlife range, but there can be a few exceptions. So I would counsel you mightily just to move forward in this kind of inner knowing that you have. And it really will, as I see it here, continue mostly through all the days of your life. I feel as though you'll create different objects of affectation for the healing of the planet, which is part of being a creator. Generally, creators that have it in their theme don't just stick with sort of one thing. It's different than being a creative human being, by the way. Everyone is. But a theme that has creator in it, it will be something that will evolve and change, and probably you'll be interested in many different things. So if I were to check in with you 20, 30 years from now, it's quite likely that what you're considering doing for yourself and others will take a completely different look. So without you being present in the way, I hope I've served you in some way.
I'm still here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We thought we lost you.
Yeah, no,
How's that
I've been
resonate
here.
for you, Elaine?
That's really very affirmative for me, because I've spent the last couple of years just really creating this nesting spot for myself and gardening and doing all those things, and I've got this incredible draw of people who want to come and be in my space.
Oh, beautiful.
And now I want to reach out, and I have this theme, this artwork that I'm doing, Seeds of Love, and I really want to help create.
Well, that's perfect too,
objects,
because that's magnifier. What is it like? Just think about it. What's a seed? You know, it'll grow. So even the title or the thought process that you have about that, that's just great inner knowing. So
that's fantastic. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And again, he's taking action, and you're following your heart. So wow, that's again, Kelly, Michael, we all have these awarenesses that that a lot of times we're just looking for information to follow through on what our hearts are really telling us.
Yep.
And Elaine, you're like spot on. It's beautiful. By the way, Elaine, I'd love to see when you have stuff up, and if you have a website, please forward me a link for it so we can check it out and maybe share it with more people around the world.
Oh, that'll be great, John. I'll definitely do that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you so much
too.
for calling in. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Thanks.
Thank you, Elaine, for your call.
Thank you so much.
Kelly and Michael, I love it because could you hear the joy in her voice?
Yeah,
and how
I can't wait to see that.
And that's when you've hit something. And again, the validation, we look for validation a lot of times outside of ourselves, but we know if it's fun, if it's expanding us, if it's bringing more people in to resonate with, we know we're onto something, right?
Yep. Yes.
So,
there's still a lot of people that seem stuck, though, and so that's can be an indicator. If it's not bringing you joy, it's probably not touching on your theme, right? Joy. We're to have a joy-filled experience. In the first book, Michael said, expect miracles, expect a joy-filled life. It was promised to us the day we were born. So, yeah, can't wait to see what she comes up with.
That's so cool. That's really cool. And I've got a question that someone wrote in. Oh, and by the way, for everyone that's listening, we're actually going to get into a conversation with Ashtar before the end of the call to find out what's coming up for 2015. And I'm so excited about that. And Kelly, if that's still available, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure.
But I want to take some more questions, and I want to go through the special offer also because you are offering one-on-one sessions also with people where they can ask you so many different things, and we'll get into that and so much more. But I want to pick up one question first because this is really important. And Donna, thank you for running in. Donna from Denton wrote in. She says, let me find out. She just found out by accident, she wrote in quote, she's an empath sensitive to energy. She'll watch TV or commercials since 2007, and sometimes it's hard to avoid, and her body just cringes when she's around it. What can she do around those things to help her ease her discomfort?
Okay, I just missed that word. What happens when, is it violence, did you say? I just didn't hear that word.
Oh, no. When she watches TV or commercials, she cringes around the energy. It's like there's something really heavy about the energy that comes around. And she wants to know what she can do when she's around those types of energies and things to help ease her discomfort.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Some of this I already know without invoking him, but let's just invoke him anyway.
Yeah, totally.
So Michael, how can you guide her about this? Well, okay, first thing I'm hearing right there from Michael, he's saying turn within. By that I mean when you have that feeling, there's a variety of things you could be doing. Turn within. I'd say take your hand, I'd like the right hand on top of the physical heart itself, open palm, very gently. Put it on there in the moment of distress. Extend love and kindness to yourself with your voice while your hand is on your heart. Take your open hand away if you would. I prefer the right hand initially, and then just extend love and I offer love and kindness to myself, and then drop the hand down. I would also ask you, and that's what I meant by turning inward. Okay. Then I would also ask you to consider extending yourself to others. By that I mean more fully when this occurs. Extend love and kindness to whatever feeling that was that presented that to you. Electronics themselves, there's kind of two components here that I wanted to mention. One is for many souls, the components of electronics can be very depleting to the energy fields, and also depending upon the message that's being communicated, there certainly can be some less than light energy forces that come from energetics. So what do I mean by that? Not everything that one is privy to, you might say, comes totally and fully from the light. You might say, well, everything goes to source, and I would say yes. In the ideal world, it does go to source at one point in time. So I would consider just short term, because this is the thing I'd like to share next, does not need to be long term. The first thing I think will be useful for as long as you need it. I think you'll know when. The second thing here is actually going to a particular gem. I like a rose clear quartz stone in your pocket or on your in your possession when this feeling overcomes you, or nearby. If your pocket is uncomfortable, you might find it's a necklace or something of this type. Also feel as though that the teaching of the Golden Dome is useful to go over, particularly when you might be in front of a device that's emitting a frequency. Drawing the Golden Dome from the ground of Mother Earth, could be inside your apartment, your home dwelling, whatever, up and over yourself, even if you're in a seated position on a recliner and you get this impulse that comes to you. You might say that some of this is learning how to moderate the signals that you're receiving, along with knowing that some of the signals aren't meant to be received. So it's kind of a combination sort of answer guidance for you at this time. I do feel as though that some further grounding, and grounding can be done in many numerous ways. For you particularly, I would say doing a little barefoot walking around the house will do the job to help with what you're describing as well. So there are other teachings. These are the most simplest, I believe, for you to move and integrate from this without further delay, he said.
That's fantastic. And what I actually think is so great about what you're describing is that it takes anyone who's being affected by these fields, by these energies, away from being a victim into actually being able to create your own environment. Because I would think at some time, Michael, that we won't be affected by these energies in the way that they're affecting us now. If we're super sensitive to them, there's got to be a place that we ascend to that these energies just, they fall off of us like it's water off a duck's back, because it really can't penetrate the light that we're carrying.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Thousands are in this light vehicle, yet many more still need to be. And what is the light vehicle? Love, kindness, and acceptance of oneself first, and then of others. Okay,
that makes sense. But again, these are fantastic tools. And again, Donna, it puts you in a position where you're in the driver's seat. And I'm so glad that you have chosen where you immerse your energy and how you have a relationship with what's around you. That's a huge step. And kudos to you for that. And now having these other tools available and so much other stuff that that Kelly and Archangel Michael and Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and these other energies that come in teach that I actually want to get into. So taking that cue, Kelly, what I'd love to do is invite everyone to the special offer page, because you actually go deeper in a lot of these components and what you're offering here. And there's also an opportunity, like I said earlier, you guys can have a private session with Kelly, and this is amazing that Kelly has made this available to as many people as she has, because I know how private sessions go and how much energy that takes. So it will be fantastic. And so again, what I'd like to do is invite everyone who's listening, and on the webcast page, if you click on the special offer link, you'll be able to follow as Kelly explains to us what she has put together here for Beyond the Ordinary for the listeners. And if you're not on the web page, you can always access that page by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Kelly, Kelly, and the number 6. And with that, Kelly, can you take us into this offer?
Well, sure, John. As you're mentioning, I did have a little help putting this together. Not maybe some people don't know that I'm a medium. I actually connected with my mother when I was about 20 after she transitioned. We talk quite a lot. So you can, offer item 1. You can split our time, if some of you would like, between asking Archangel Michael for some validation or questions, and are trying to connect with others on the other side. And if they're not able to come through, Michael can access their soul pieces or that information for you. So also could apply to animals, so I'll just leave that open. Some of these other downloads, they're quite new. The Power of Love and Kindness, over 60 minutes of teaching from Archangel Michael and others. They're very interactive in a way that, Michael likes to give homework, but he also makes it like easy homework. In other words, you can do it from your home. That is the most significant thing. It's the foundating principle when anyone comes to a star healing session, and we even do it for animals, telepathically sharing with them. I offer love and kindness, and we touched upon it. That's the foundation of life on Earth. So in the recording, Michael talks about how to understand the petals of love and other ways to be in the frequency, and not only that, but different ways to create that frequency through energy, sound, numbers, harmonics. He uses harmonics. They can be numbers, it can be tones, it can be colors. A forgiveness blessing is included. All of the main sort of, you might say, Christ or cosmic Christ, very, core frequencies that we came here. The power of joy. Each one of these extended teachings have, again, exercises to help you, maybe just even intending that you're going to listen to joy and listen to some of the ideas and techniques that Michael and the other ascended masters inspire you to do or ask you to put in your life, and why it's so important to have the frequency of joy in your life. There's always a blessing in these. The power of gratitude, that's huge. I think we all know that, but maybe we lost sight of it. So he does call this the second significant healing frequency on Earth. Again, harmonics are an ascended base kind of thing. Sound, colors, how to make joy, the frequency of joy using through different methods, I should say. The power of peace and calm. Again, not a replication of star healing by any means. It's different type of teaching. There's a healing meditation. There's several of them in there. But from star healing, we're drawing down molecularly peace and calming energy from the source, which is Palladian or God energy also for animals, people. And Michael says, and I think many of us know this, where there's peace and calm, there can be no illness in the body. So another tool, again, to spend time and also be inspired to create a peace garden. Michael gives us some creative ideas about how to get that going. Item 6, the power of creative visualization. Like to think some of this is new teaching you might not have heard in other ways from other teachers. It's important. 2 bonuses. One, certainly part of my mission is to teach more star healers in the global system for people. So there's a bonus there to do so, and I'm happy to answer any and all questions. It's like, well, I'd like to know more. By all means, send me an email. I'm happy to go over it even in advance of if that's what's really drawing you to the package. Bonus 2, pull back the veil between the worlds. Again, there's toning. There's different ways to make harmonics. These are healing numbers or harmonic healing codes to connect with the fairy realm. What do they look like? How will I know if I'm connecting with a fairy? All the items that are explained here in the package. So it's a lot of, 5 hours, 6 hours of some downloads and time with me. That's package A. Package B, one-on-one remote star healing intergalactic energy. Many of you have experienced half of a session. Some of you may be a little more, as the descriptive copy talks about in the video. Certainly, many are calling it one of the most powerful healing systems on the planet. You're welcome to return if you've had it before. Might be a different intake form. It is a system, as Archangel Michael shared with me, that occasionally it needs to be given more than once, so there are certain conditions that may require more than one attunement. And if that's the case, it's not just for first-time folks that have never been introduced to the system. It is a cellular, molecular, magnified healing system. We're turning people's bodies into more crystalline light bodies, fifth dimensional or higher. Again, many people go to the 13th or 33rd dimensions. They have physical conditions. Some people get instantaneous and permanent healing in their session. Other times, as Archangel Michael has said, and I know being the founder now for 5 years, sometimes it's spread out like flour over time. Archangel Michael promises that people will receive healing benefits that extend into the decades for coming to the system. So be happy to explain more about how that process works. We just need to hear each other anywhere in the world. Skype, landline, there's an intake form. It's a very safe form of healing. It's powerful. First attunements are generally split in half like this to minimize releases, and there's a follow-up with everyone, and there'll be a follow-up with every owner of every animal, so I see how you're doing afterwards. So it's just the greatest. There's thousands of testimonials now on that. Item 8, excited to be moving and expanding these other systems. 60 minutes one-on-one remote star healing for your dog, cat, or equine. John mentioned at the top of our time here together. We would conduct them in the same way. There's also includes 15 minutes of angelic time with Michael. If you want some other insight about what behaviorally might be going on with your animal, or if you want to use that time to connect with an animal on the other side, we can do that. Telepathy enhancement instruction, that's going to be a part of it. Certainly for any animal, even people, there will be some instruction about how important it is about the thoughts around the animal, who's caring for the animal, the energy of the space where the animal and equine, certainly even particularly a stabling environment, what's being admitted there. So that kind of teaching will come out. But again, it would be conducted very similarly as a star healing for the human body. Animals this time, he's asking me to devote more time to developing the animals. We're having great results with animals, horses, dogs, cats. The system really is, I know I've gone too far, John, when I get my first guinea pig to heal remotely. Anyway, it's for four-leggeds. Okay, item 9, I'm super excited. It makes my job, besides, being an instrument of helping people in some small or large way, and everything in between. Dominion is this new astronomy system from Archangel Michael that he asked me to kind of download several years ago, 3 or 4 now, and I started to, and then I stopped, and the astrologer wasn't quite ready, so it feels like a perfect time to do it now. So the exciting part for me, anyway, is that I'll be learning something totally new, 2 60-minute, although they may go a little longer, April, master teleclasses, learning about the system and why we even need another system for our planet than maybe the system of astrology that we have going on now. He's calling it Dominion, partly because Dominion means ascension, oneness, ascendancy. When I asked Michael, why we need a new system to understand the stars, he said, because the one your Earth uses is fading away energetically. It's not a lot different in a way that when he introduced star healing, why do we need another form of healing? Because certain things are different now than they were before. So Michael always talks about an analogy, and it's similar to star healing. You can pick up an old form of healing or move into a new one. Same thing with this, what he's calling Dominion. He said, if you have worn tires on your car, do you wish to keep driving on them, or would you prefer to get new ones? So I know 2 hours won't be enough. I'm open to working with John to see how we might. It'll be deep. It will be long. It will be evolved, and I'll be listening for the first time. And I hope everyone becomes as excited about it as anytime something new is given. These new healing systems, the home space system. I'm quite honored to be the vessel to dig into that with you all together. So moving on along from there, a bonus, if those of you are healers and you will be attuned to the Pleiadian energy and you want to step into a significant high vibrational healing for animals. There's a bonus there you can be certified anywhere in the world. It's done remotely. I'm certifying more animal healers now. We're learning some cool stuff about imprinting, telepathy, how your own telepathy will grow by being in palladium energy. It's a wonderful thing. One of the animal healers had some inner knowing of her on her own right, but wasn't what I would call a seer. Till the first animal showed up and all of her helper friends gave her instantaneous seeing. It's a sort of a bonus to be able to see imprints and see exactly what Michael says we're doing. But it's a wonderful thing, and being in, Christ energy, Christ consciousness, Palladian energy, having all the ascended masters present, you can't help but grow. So also the same is being said for the expansion of Star Healing Equine. I have more equine healers rising up, so I'm thrilled to be offering and teaching. The teaching might be done individually or it might be done in a group. So is that it? We got it all there? I think so.
I think you've got it all there, and I love what you put together, Kelly. I've experienced one-on-one sessions with Kelly, and the Star Healing, the deep one, and package B, it's amazing. And just the 30-minute session that you'll get with Kelly and Archangel Michael and whoever else happens to show up, it's crazy powerful. And the shifts that happen, I was in a daze for a few hours afterwards, and I was trying to drive and do all kinds of things at the same time, so it was crazy. And then you receive all these fantastic tools, and Kelly, went through one of the tools with us at the beginning of the call, and I want to invite all of y'all to come back and listen to the replay so you can access that over again. But the golden halo, there's walking through the threshold exercises. I can't imagine what's going to come in the Dominion package and what new tools and gifts are going to show up there. So this is phenomenal. And what's also fantastic on this is that Kelly has allowed us to break this down into payment plans also. So we actually broke it down into 2 payments, so you can make this really accessible. Understand that you have to after you have your private session, we do offer 30-day refunds, but after your private session, obviously Kelly's in, you receive a ton of benefits plus all these recordings. And refunds can't be issued then, but this is cool. And again, for the price that's available for the private time that you get with Kelly, and the new downloads that are coming in, and it's so funny, Kelly, because we get a lot of people writing in that they're stuck, and I don't get the sense that they're stuck. I get the sense that they're waiting for new instructions, new information to come in to level up so far ahead of themselves that it's coming up, and they just want to spin to that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So it's an interesting conundrum, but again, for everybody that's listening, this package is something that is going to hold a tremendous amount of benefit for you guys, and I invite all of y'all to dive in. And again, you can get to the package and book your private session by clicking on the special offer link and adding to the cart. And again, you can have either 2 sessions with Kelly or 1, depending on which package you choose. And again, click on the special offer link on the webpage, or you can also get there by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Kelly and the number 6, KELLY 6. And that's fantastic, Kelly. Thank you for putting this offer together and just for always being so generous with all your time and with all this information. And for being so creative with it, always to being open to receive this information for everybody.
Well, thanks so much. Let's not forget about our animal friends. And then one other thing, if I can, John. Sometimes folks are not clear on how they really arrange their live time. So, generally it's done through an email. You can email me once I'm notified if the package moves you, and then either myself or my assistant will schedule our time, and we work it out. So that's kind of how it works.
Fantastic. All right, guys. So I need to down and do one-on-ones with other amazing information. It's a lot of assistance that's available to you. And again, all you've asked, you're showing up, and here's your opportunity to step up and take action and do something with it so it can facilitate you to where you're heading to. And again, with that love, with that joy, with that passion that we heard earlier from one of the callers, it's so fantastic to hear that. And with that, Kelly, I would love to take a couple of more live callers and a couple of questions. Are you up for that?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. I have a caller here from Santa Fe, New Mexico on the line. Santa Fe, are you available?
Yes, hi.
Hi, who are we speaking with?
Krista.
Hey, Krista, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for picking me. I love Archangel Michael. Thank you so much.
Yeah, me too. What's your question?
Me too.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Well, it's about, I guess, my soul theme.
All right. I'd love to help you. I'll just invoke him. Santa Fe's a great town. Maybe I'll get there again soon.
Oh, I hope so.
All right, Michael. Can you help her, please? Understand what her soul theme is, or validate it for her, please? What type is it? Oh, my goodness. She's just saying, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one shall I grab for you? Would you like, oh, my gosh, door 1, door 2, door 3. Oh, it's a blended theme, he's saying. Blended theme. So that would be three little frequencies sort of uniquely balled into your uniqueness and your beauty and your grace. As I see it presented before me, one of the blends of energy is creator. No, I'm not going to say this for everyone, he's saying. One of the blends is creator. One of the frequencies, and they're not in any descending order, by the way. They're just sort of a way to present them, 1, 2, and 3, he's saying, okay, because they're blended. So, creator, humanitarian, and healer. Creator, humanitarian, and healer. So if she speaks for us collectively and just you yourself, how you heal, who you heal, what you heal, your paths, humanitarian. So I can provide a little more assistance if you need it, or move in the directions in these frequencies, again, that bring you joy. You can't help but have joy. Sometimes you might have to fine-tune your path, just like she does and other people do. But when you get to what we call the sweet spot, it's almost 99% joy. Do you need further counsel on understanding these frequencies, or would you like to reflect upon them?
Excuse me, I've got a cold. Well, I have a hard time sort of deciding what to do. I am a healer, and I've been doing that for years. I also write, poetry and lots of stuff. And I feel drawn and pulled in so many directions that I don't focus as much as I should on anything. And so I feel kind of like stuck.
Okay, if I may, I'm hearing he's saying, I wouldn't worry about this too much right now. In fact, I have a plan for you if you're open to listening to it.
Yes.
And I would say the plan would be pick up a little bit of everything and redirect yourself to the theme. So let's just work this out a little between us, if I may.
Yes.
What are you doing, my friend, that would fall under humanitarian? Is it what you're writing that brings value to others? If it is, then you're walking on that aspect of yourself in a way, you see. If you're not, then I would say move more fully into thinking about, again, go back to the theme because it can help you. But because it's blended by nature, you will have varying interests, okay? Because it is blended, he's saying. You don't wake up one day and say, humanitarian, he's saying. So it's, again, if you're poetry writing, if you find this the least bit helpful, then I would guide you to a place where maybe you think about other writings that you might be doing in any fashion that will help the global good. It could be animals. It could be anything. There's no wrongness, okay? It's what interests you. Okay.
I was thinking of doing a blog.
I love it very much, okay, because creator was in there, and that's certainly one way to get the message out there. So you do go for it, he's saying. Yes.
Oh, good. Yay. Yeah, because I do have a lot to say.
Yes, yes, yes. It's almost backlogged in you, he's saying.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, wouldn't a key indicator be the joy and excitement that comes along with?
Yes, you cannot be on your theme and not have that, or said another way, if you're having a huge amount of joy, you can bet almost what should I bet? A feather or two, he's saying, that you're on it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Get it out there. It's backlogging up in you, girl.
I know it is. Yeah. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much. Oh, I love you.
My greatest pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, express your joy,
He loves
Chris.
you.
That's fantastic, and it's when we actually get on our joy and we start sharing our passion, and then when, again, like you said earlier, when we couple that with helping others, when putting that out into the world where it actually heals it invites other people to that join that passion also, that's when we really know that we're onto something.
Yes.
So amazing. That's fantastic, and yeah, follow your heart, sweetheart, because it's so beautiful, and there's so many different versions of what wants to be expressed. That what a gift. A lot of times we think that we have all these different options showing up to us, and we don't know what to do with it and juggle all of them. But what a gift to have those options, because how many people don't? How many people feel stuck in something where they can't even tell what to do next, what brings them joy. They're so shut down that they're running old programs that it's hard to even connect with that.
That's right. Right. She wasn't really stuck. She was just wavering. She just needed a little nudge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Love that. Great call. And I actually want to take another question, someone that wrote in here, and I want to pick this up because it feels like it's really important. Let me find where you went. It was such a good question, and I lost it as I went through the questions here. So it's Lori from Cotton Grove, Minnesota, wrote that it's something that she wrote an exclamation. It's the deal here. Some direction, camp-ality, or interest, all these about guys that she's been that a shiny thing she do to her get more centered to help her back on path.
Well, I'll try my best with that one, but there was a lot of it almost sounded like Ashtar wanted to come through, and it was very garbled. But could you kindly I really only heard part of that, so I don't know if that's just on my end or everybody, but
I the connections coming through also, and let me see if I can fix the connection a little bit. But Lori's stating that she's stuck and she can't pick a modality. She has so many different interests, and she's tried so many things. She's tried shaman work, ceremony leading, drumming, aromatherapy, angel card readings, on, and nothing's working. She's restless. She's always trying new things, and she wants to know how she can finally fall into that thing that's going to make a difference for her.
Okay, thank you for repeating some of that. Okay, star healing, be the next star healer. Now I'm going to ask Michael for you, okay? Michael, you're hearing this. How can you guide her? What would be useful for her, please? Okay, I think she needs complete freedom, and by that I mean autonomy, but not isolation. Freedom in what? Freedom to create sort of a mixture of something for herself, of her own creation. I certainly would welcome her to the system from the stars, but right now her soul is showing me that, I would use the word concoction, although I mean it in the very highest form of the word. So I think in your best interest, it's just a suggestion, my friend, that if you write down a list of the things you like best, of the things that you just stated, and combine them into something that is uniquely yours, because your soul cords are showing me sort of this large band of leadership or strength, and again, I'm calling it autonomy or self-reliance. Again, and so because of that soul cord being very large, you would be well suited to sort of run something, you might say, of your own, and or lead others. So you might find that in this creation of what you like best from those modalities, you've come up with what I'm calling your own concoction. I feel as though if you need help with the name, it sort of will come to you. It doesn't need to be named. I think it will vary itself, and that would be my counsel, is that right now where you are, that you make the list of the things you like best and make your own home brew. And then I feel as though you will have some others that will want to learn and will follow you. Again, this is not isolation. Many times light workers feel isolated, and this is not what I'm trying to indicate at all. So I hope you found some value in this.
I think that's fantastic, and I think that really hones it in, and it provides a lot of clarity. So thank you for that, Kelly and Michael. Now, Kelly, Michael, and Ashtar, we talked about bringing Ashtar in to go over what's coming in for 2015. But before we do that, Kelly, I want to remind everyone, again, we're going long here, and we always do when we get on the call with you, Kelly, because there's so much information that wants to come through. But I want to invite everyone to come back and listen to the replay, and we will be running the replays through Monday, so it'll be on for an additional week. And then we're doing something special on Beyond the Ordinary this season, is that we're actually giving away every single call at the end of the season. So you can come back and listen over again this week, and if you're still subscribed, stay on the list, because at the end of the season, when we're finished, you're going to receive a copy of every call so that you can have all these amazing tools, all these meditations, these activations, process like Kelly's been sharing, and awarenesses for your spiritual library to own absolutely free just by being a member of Beyond the Ordinary. So with that, guys, the replay, we'll send out the link for the replay link a little bit later this evening. You can access that all weekend long, but you can also always access the replays by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. And I also want to invite all of y'all to take advantage of your time, the private time that's available in these packages with Kelly. It's super generous. You're going to get so much from it, and the star healing that I received, my experience with it was out of this world, and I like speaking from experience because it has to be authentic as far as I'm concerned. It is the fashizzle, if you will. So take advantage of it, and you can get to a special offer link by clicking on the special offer link on the webcast page, or going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Kelly6. And with that, Kelly, can we finish this evening talking to Ashtar and giving us a glimpse or some insight as to what to expect for this year?
Yeah, thanks so much, John. You know, the other thought I had was, if you want to ask a question or someone wants to type in, if just a couple, you know, otherwise I'll start downloading. But if we're here to serve, I know there's, you know, a huge amount or awareness of questioning about disclosure, and Ashtar's talked about it before. Ashtar is the Galactic Commander. He is someone that quite often is present in a star healing, along with many other guides and beings and loving counsel, and Michael and so many others, and Kumanthi and Master Hillerin. And so the idea about disclosure, you know, when will there be global disclosure? So maybe we could ask for that, and then see, you know, for the next few minutes here, if that's good with you, where else you'd like to lead us in this year ahead. So sometimes when Ashtar comes through, he's not as fluid as Michael. He's not funny like Michael can be. But anyway, I appreciate everyone's time and interest. So Ashtar, what is it that... What is it? Well, when will disclosure be, and of a global nature? Because we certainly know our planet has been visited for eons of years in a way. So when will the majority of souls know about it, and what can we expect in a noticeable way to come to us in the year that we're living? Could you please share some teaching, please? I have a divine plan, and my divine plan is simply just to be available. So if the divine plan is to be called upon to ask as I see it, when will there be global recognition of a what you might call disclosure, and we sort of laugh among ourselves about the word disclosure. It should be more exposure. Ha ha, you see, I can be funny. I don't know if you was or not, but anyway. Go on if you would, please. So he says, so exposure. We're waiting for the consciousness of the planet to be continuing to move from a fear-based one to a loving one. Right now I get my marching orders, and sometimes my marching orders from other council vary. I feel as though it's not as soon as some of your world may have prophesied previously. I myself have a changing view, a little like the weather, but we feel as though that the way you're asking me to share some knowledge is that it looks as though it could be every bit of another 5 years before many of those, the majority of those in your planet are ready to hear about not only disclosure of our loving presence and the creation of so many things that we assisted with, but there are many forms of disclosure, as your minds might be wondering. The one form of disclosure certainly is the one just mentioned, but there are other forms of disclosure about untruths that might have been uncovered. They will come off like layers that are peeled from an onion. Again, it's kind of a fractionized energy at times that we hope will become one, when the energy of your planet becomes one, and that would be really the sharing of programming such as this, other programming, your own hearts and minds, so that if you hear something good and wonderful, and if your hearts are open to other dimensional realms, and you go about your lives knowing that there are multiple dimensions, multiple universes, and you find yourself easing into this concept, if you're the least bit resistant, you can find yourself being a very useful role or particle in what we call exposure. He's saying, not disclosure. It's an elevation. Very soon in your world, I do feel as though, in focusing on this particular year that you're asking us to look at, there will be some sightings, there will be some new crop circles that we feel are going to come into the world vision. One of the nearest ones that I feel, or in terms of earthly time, I feel will be useful to be made and noticed in about 3 months of Earth time. This time, the healing frequencies of the circle that will be made looks to me as though it will be provided in the southern hemisphere. Would be falling somewhere in South America. It looks as though the intended plan, if it sounds like I don't know exactly everything, it's because I myself am a partial commander, you might say, and I'm certainly not sitting at the force of the big command. God energy is. So it looks as though it might be Paraguay, somewhere in South America. Those of you, I think, will come to know about it. Some of you will. If you look at this particular crop circle that's in our plans, if this is helpful, you have plans on Earth, so we have plans also. And many united races that work together in our loving grace to try to co-create the most smooth and unified transition of the revelation, you might say. So those of you will find that looking at this particular crop circle will find that it has a uniqueness to it because it will be three-dimensional in nature. Some of you will come to see this with your vision that some other crop circles do not possess. Everything has an elevation, and so for your knowingness, some of the earlier crop circles were of a more one-dimensional, interdimensional healing frequency. If I were to pick something else for your worldview to consider, we do feel as though that there will be some landings, and ships certainly are being sighted more and more in many of the cloud formations. The the sighting that there'll be many sightings, but one of the sightings that I would like to just share as I see it will be a collection of motherships that should be flowing across from the east to the west, near and about your Earth months of June and July and August. We do feel as though that this introduction of a larger fleet where a larger group of souls might know it is a next easing step into, again, what we're calling exposure and not disclosure. And very soon thereafter, we feel as though there will be this almost sonic boom sound that Archangel Michael had prevailed upon before in some of his teachings, when most souls on your planet will be looking up, looking for the sound. It's not 2015, it appears to be 2017, but it will be heralding a new dawn and will be closer to approximating the great central sun and its total perfection. I do hope that I am speaking in a way that does not disorientate anyone, knowing that one final thing, if I may, knowing that many of you have already embraced our wisdom. A great big hug and thank you to many of you who have already opened your hearts and minds in knowingness. Many of you who are already doing the intergalactic work are opening your hearts to it. The exposure, as we're calling it, the revelations, as I'm calling it right now, could not have existed if you yourselves and many of the preceding generations had not opened doorways. So we give thanks to all those enlightened ones, as we call you, who are doing such good and helpful work, as many of the fleets find ourselves being more and more embraced by and with the frequency of love.
That's fantastic, Ashtar, and thank you for sharing that. Now, what does us being ready to receive this mean for us as individuals, as part of the people that are on this plane, to be able to start to receive that vibration?
Well, some of you are feeling it already. Some of you are feeling, maybe even in my voice, or you felt it through others, or you felt it through your own sense of self, that the vibrating chords of connectedness are coming up through your feet. And what does it mean? It means in many ways that the tyranny that has been of your planet, the holding down and the suppression of many life forms, including, of course, human beings on your planet, by others that were not totally and fully in the light, that this unseen spiritual battle of lightness versus darkness, it will be won. It will be won in the time that we're calling exposure rather than disclosure. So the feeling of being pure love, I guess if I had to pick and choose something, and know that there are multiple families of light races that always have been visiting Earth, always have been involved in Earth. We're talking about Earth now and not other constellations, which I suppose my friend Michael will be in some moment's time. But it means that acceptance of every man, woman, child. It means acceptance that every creature, every light being, every loving light force. It means that those that have been working to keep your planet down will be transported back to source for pure and total healing.
That's beautiful.
Wow. It means in another sense that those that have will continue to have, and those that don't have will have. There will be an equalization of what you might call your social status or social structure, and the structure will be based on not what one's car looks like, not what one's home looks like, not what one's skin looks like, but what the heart feels and what the heart knows. It will be a connection of the purest kind back to the frequency of love, and you might even call it back to God's creation of nirvana on your planet. It will be a time of non-judgment. Pure and total purified thought, coming from the heart, being source with every living and breathing action.
Wow. Wow. And again, I loved what you said, that there are already those who are already starting to embody this, that are doing this, and they're really the way showers for others. And so you're probably talking, I'm assuming you're probably talking about a time where you reach a pivot point where enough people are ready to receive this then. Is that true?
Yes, it's very much like the head of a pin. The pins have already been dropped, hundreds of thousands, yes? And so very much in your mind, you have it identically correct in your mind. It's like when the center will be there is what I'm trying to describe.
Fantastic. That is beautiful. It's Ashtar, thank you so much for sharing that message. It's so important. And it's so important also because I want our audience to know, I'd love for you guys to feel, everybody that's listening, how you're such an integral part of all of this. And as you choose to expand and vibrate more into the love that you are and feel into that and are willing to accept that, you become that resonance and hold that vibration for other people to fall into it. So it's so important, first, A, to do it for yourself because you deserve to receive that. But in your receiving, you become a pillar, you become a beacon for other people, and we'll reach that mass consciousness, that, and I won't call it consciousness, that mass vibration of love. We'll start getting expressions, receiving expressions, like Ashtar's talking about, like Kelly shares with us, that like Michael shares with us, of what's available to us in an ever more profound and easier, more peaceful fashion. So it's beautiful. Kelly, Ashtar, Michael, Mary's, the council, thank all of y'all for your time, for your love, for sharing your hearts with us.
Thanks so much, John. And, you know, the message is always, right, replace fear with love.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to leave everyone on the call with that. So everyone, again, thank you so much for being on the call with us this evening. Remember, the replay links will go out a little bit later this evening. You can always access the replays at beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. And again, dive into Kelly's special offer. There's a lot of wisdom, a lot of energy that wants to come through all these masters, if you will. And it's just right there, a phone call or a click away for you. So dive into the special offer as well. Kelly, I'm going to give a few shout-outs. You guys are amazing. Everyone on the call, I can feel your energy and your love. Joanna from Sweden, Maureen from Cincinnati, David, Dada, Tony from Chicago, Chelsea from Pawtucket, I think I pronounced that right, Anne from Australia. We have Nikki from Orlando, Leah from San Leandro, Dora from Leesburg, Sandrine from Ocean Springs, Molly from San Francisco. It goes on and on. Randy, hey Randy from Huntington, New York. Janice from South Lyon. Andrea, Vancouver. Charlotte from New York. You guys are amazing. So beautiful. It's so wonderful how you're showing up for yourselves and in the world. I'm so grateful to be able to share this space and this energy with each and every one of you. Thank you for what you're doing for yourselves and for the world. You guys are amazing, truly. And with that, Kelly, I want to wish you a fantastic evening again. Thank you so much for being here and for everything that you put into what you do.
My great pleasure, John. Thanks a whole bunch to you and everybody listening. Bye now.
And yeah, everyone, have a great evening. I'm sending you a big hug and a tremendous amount of love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next call. Good night.